From a brave worker in China who sprung into action to put out this gas station fire, and a driver who tried to remove his license plate after smashing through a convenience store in Michigan, to a fire suppression system that misfired at this gas station outside Boston, and a man who tried to light a spider on fire while filling up his car with gas. Here are 10 incredible moments caught on gas station CCTV. Brandon Township is a small community in Oakland County, Michigan. It's home to about 15,000 people living roughly 30 miles north of Detroit. One of those people decided to knock back a few beers at a local BP gas station. As you can guess, that was a bad idea. It was October 24th of 2019. In the wee hours of the morning, our driver, William, entered the gas station and bought a six-pack. The clerk recognized him as a regular and thought nothing of it. Moments later, William was back in the store. He just wasn't on foot this time. William's truck races across the parking lot and smashes through the windows. Two people standing nearby can hardly believe what they just saw. They go to investigate. Then, one of them runs away. We assume to call 911. Inside the gas station, William tries to rip the license plate off of his truck. As you know, your license plate is screwed on tight. Ripping it off with your bare hands will take a lot of force. But William is scared and determined. He's also hopped up on adrenaline. Take a moment to appreciate the carnage as William gathers himself. You rarely see the aftermath of these accidents in such high quality. With one final tug, William rips the license plate off and falls to the ground. He flees the scene before the police arrive. They found and arrested him later on. William blamed his new tires, saying they spin easily. He lost control, hit the curb, and flew into the store. While in shock, he thought taking the license plate might help his case. It didn't. Hong'an County is a mountainous community in Sichuan Province, China. It's home to about 720,000 people who rely on winding mountain roads to get from town to town. That means they need enough gas stations on those roads to keep traffic moving. Unfortunately, that puts them at a higher risk for landslides. On July 18th of 2019, a few commuters were pumping gas when something didn't sound right on the mountain. They looked up to see a massive landslide headed right for them. Water drips from the roof after what we assume was a heavy East Asian rainstorm. Then, the camera begins shaking. Rocks plummet from the mountain. One even strikes the camera. Then, a giant wave of dirt, trees, and debris plunges downhill and covers the gas station. From another angle, you can see people flee as the landslide begins. Unfortunately, they don't have much room to run. There's nothing over that guardrail but a steep drop. Dirt shoots across the road, nearly striking some onlookers. Luckily, nobody got hurt, including the tiny dog. According to reports, the landslide damaged 2 motorcycles, a small house, and one of the petrol lines. There was a small gas leak, but employees were able to contain it. Police arrived later and evacuated nearby residents. They didn't want to risk another landslide causing any more damage. Quincy is a coastal city in Norfolk County, Massachusetts. It's home to about 100,000 people living just south of Boston. On July 2nd of 2020, a mishap at a local Stop and Shop gas station gave the impression of snow in the middle of summer. But that wasn't fresh snow on the ground. The fire suppression system malfunctioned, covering the gas station in a thick coat of white foam. The good news is the fire suppression is working as it should. The bad news is that anybody pumping gas was engulfed in a cloud of CO2. While nobody got hurt, police said a few people had trouble breathing when they got stuck. According to a Stop and Shop spokesperson, the suppression system misfired due to a faulty heat detector. It must have mistaken the hot July weather for a raging gas station fire. Look up at the ceiling the next time you're pumping gas. All those nozzles aren't just average sprinklers. They're special hoses connected to canisters hidden on the roof. When they detect a fire, they release sodium bicarbonate, also known as baking soda. That combines with an acidic ingredient to make carbon dioxide, which helps smother flames under the roof. Getting covered in it can cause shortness of breath and skin irritation, but it's better than being on fire. There are healthy and unhealthy ways to deal with anger. Some people take deep breaths, calm down, and approach the situation rationally. Other people fly off the handles. One guy in Gujarat, India uses snakes. Wait, what? It was July 13th of 2020. A local Indian man and his buddy arrived at a gas station to buy some fuel. He just needed a water bottle full. The only problem was that it was after 3 p.m. COVID-19 restrictions in India forced businesses to close in the early afternoon. The staff said there was nothing they could do, and that made him angry. Our disgruntled customer enters from the right carrying 2 large jars. It's hard to tell from here, but both are full of snakes. The guys walking away from the station are probably thinking, "What is this crazy dude doing?" He opens one of the jars and tips it to get the snakes out. He enters another door and dumps them all over the floor. According to reports, there were 2 deadly cobras in those jars. What's amazing is how everyone just stands there and lets this happen. Then again, would you go anywhere near an angry man with jars full of snakes? Footage inside the store shows the snake falling out and slithering into the corner. The woman says nope and heads out. The angry man fled on foot. Meanwhile, a rescue worker arrived to rally the snakes back into the jars. Luckily, nobody was bit or hurt. Now, we're not sure what happened to the snakes, but hopefully they were taken somewhere safe. How boneheaded do you have to be to smoke a cigarette while pumping gas? There are signs literally everywhere. All it takes is one spark to set the entire gas station on fire. One gas station owner in Bulgaria couldn't believe his eyes when a car full of imbeciles rolled up smoking cigarettes. He kindly asked the passenger to put it out, but the entitled youngster refused to listen. So, our owner took matters into his own hands. Pay attention to the car on the right. You can see the passenger's cigarette when he sticks his hand out the window. He gets out and keeps puffing away. That's when the owner asks him to put his cigarette out. We imagine he said it kindly at first and the kid simply refused to listen. He taunts the owner with a puff of smoke as if to say, "What? You gonna do something about it? How's the saying go? Be careful what you wish for?" The owner walks around the car and picks up a fire extinguisher. The kid keeps looking and smoking. There's no way this guy's about to spray him, but that's exactly what happens. The funny part is how this kid stands there and takes it. His passengers flee the car as it fills up with clouds. Meanwhile, the guy pumping gas is either clueless or actively ignoring the situation. Maybe this brat will put out a cigarette next time before pulling into the station. Gas is expensive. Most people carpool or use public transportation to save money. Other people try to skirt the law to avoid buying expensive fuel. Take this guy from Brazil who rigged his Volkswagen sedan with an illegal natural gas tank. CCTV cameras were rolling outside a gas station in Maracanã. Our driver pulled up and the attendant began pumping into the illegal tank. What happened could have cost both men their lives. Thankfully, neither got hurt. Both men stand awkwardly as the car fills up with gas. Then, out of nowhere, the illegal tank explodes, sending debris flying in every direction. The driver runs for the hills while the attendant turns off the line. Before he does, you can see gas spewing from the car like a boiling tea kettle. According to reports, the owner had installed an illegal gas tank that didn't meet safety regulations. Cars can run on natural gas, it's just not as easy or as safe as petrol. Natural gas has to be stored under pressure. A tiny leak can set off a big explosion. This blast was so powerful that it sent the illegal tank flying about 200 feet away. It damaged a wall and struck another car before stopping. We can't say if the driver was arrested or faced any charges. The damage to his car was probably punishment enough. It was probably more expensive than a few gallons of gas. Jian, China is a prefecture-level city in Jiangxi province. It's home to about 4.4 million people and one brave gas station worker. On July 9th of 2018, several motorcycles arrived at a pump in Jian City. Among them was a motorized tricycle, which are popular for transporting goods around the crowded streets. Everyone started their engines and was about to leave. Then, all hell broke loose. The bike ignites the moment our driver starts the engine. He hops off and everyone flees the dangerous scene. Meanwhile, our gas station attendant grabs a fire extinguisher and puts the fire out in 12 seconds. Another worker runs over to shut the pumps off, but it's probably too little too late. Once they're sure the fire is out, the driver and his buddies push the burnt tricycle out of the way. Luckily, nobody was hurt, and our employees' quick thinking likely avoided a major accident. It's unclear what started the fire. If we had to guess, it was probably an electrical problem. Your parking brake is essential to your car's health, but we're willing to bet you rarely use it. According to one study, only 10% of people who drive automatic cars use their parking brake whenever they park. Most only use it when they park on steep inclines. But according to Firestone, Nationwide, and AAA, you should use your parking brake every time you park. This driver didn't get that message when they pulled up for gas in 2009. While they filled up a red can, their car decided to make a getaway. Now, we're not sure where this video took place. All we know is that it was at a gas station with a small pond between the road and the pumps. Our driver gets out and inserts his card. He fiddles with the gas can a little bit, oblivious to his car rolling behind him. Had he turned around, he might have stopped it before something bad happened. Instead, he starts pumping. And we have no idea how this guy didn't hear his car rolling away. It doesn't look like he has any headphones in or anything. Maybe he heard it, but assumed another car was pulling up. He knows he put his car in park, after all. His car picks up speed and rolls into the pond. He looks up, yet still seems oblivious. He even keeps pumping gas while some bikers run over to investigate. Soon, our oblivious driver dropped the pump and checked on his car. Maybe next time, he'll remember to engage his parking brake. Jay and Karen are happy gas station owners in their tiny town of Lake Cowichan, Canada. Nestled on the southern end of Vancouver Island, they serve all kinds of customers who come to enjoy their time on the water. But on October 9th of 2023, a new type of client walked into their little store. Security cameras around the store captured a giant black bear wandering in around 6:30 a.m. Apparently, Mr. Black Bear had a sweet tooth as he headed straight for the candy aisle. The bear steps onto the patio and strolls through an open door. Jay was sipping coffee behind the counter when the bear began rummaging through the candy. Coincidentally, it grabs a pack of gummy bears before walking down another aisle. We see Jay behind the counter when the camera switches. He never takes his eyes off the bear, who wanders off camera. Jay grabs a bat and comes out to deal with the problem. Luckily, the bear ran off before he had to do anything drastic or stupid. Jay said nothing like this had ever happened in 16 years of business. He did get scared when the bear was grabbing at the gummies. It would have pinned Jay in the register booth if it had walked around the shelf. Now, plenty of people are afraid of spiders. In fact, up to 15% of the population has arachnophobia. When they see one, their first instinct is to either run or squash it. Then there's this guy from Detroit, Michigan, who took the meme phrase "kill it with fire" to a whole new level. While pumping gas at a local station, he noticed a creepy crawly on his car. Instead of swatting at it, he pulled out his lighter. Fire engulfed his car and the pump instantly. Luckily, he had enough time to move the car and grab a fire extinguisher before it caused any more damage. Meanwhile, one of the gas station employees looked out and witnessed the whole thing. She flipped the emergency shutoff and then called the fire department. Everybody asked the same question. What the heck was this guy thinking? If he was truly arachnophobic, the sight of a spider could trigger overwhelming anxiety. Spiders would dominate his thoughts. He could lose focus and think irrationally. So irrationally that lighting it on fire near a gas tank sounds like a good idea. According to employees, he returned the next day and apologized for destroying the pump. Insurance paid for the damages, and the driver wasn't charged. The viral embarrassment was punishment enough. If you enjoyed this video and want to see another just like it, be sure to click the link on screen now. With that, thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next time.